Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to have your attention. We're going to continue the program while you're finishing lunch and dessert and coffee and all the good stuff. So we have a lot of information to get out, and we try to keep somewhat on schedule. I just want to give a little background on the Coordinating Council. I mentioned that we've been around for 80 years, but we are a 501c3 organization, and we work hard to raise money to put back into our community. If you look in the program on the front page, on the back, you list about $23,000 worth of funds we put back in the community for different things, Angel Tree, and we're big on scholarships for high school seniors, and we also have a great event. We do veteran scholarships for veterans attending Cerritos College, which is an excellent partner with us. As we planned this luncheon, going back to last September, we look ahead and say, okay, who are we going to raise money for? Where are we going to put the money back in the community? So this year, and it gets very difficult because there's so many good projects in the city that we can attend to. So our first organization or group, I guess, is our Social Services Food Pantry. We've been doing this for quite a number of years now. We are really proud that Norwalk is one of the few cities in the county that has its own social services department. And if you just want to see all the stuff they do, stop down there sometime. The staff will give you a tour, and they do senior lunches, and they got legal aid, and just a ton of stuff, different type programs that are catered to our residents. So today, our goal today is to raise $10,000, and $2,500 is going to the food pantry today. So let's hear it for our food pantry. Our second recipient this year is the Whole Child. Yay, right over here. They're actually headquartered in Whittier, but they help the city of Norwalk and our social services department with addressing the needs of people who are homeless, need some rent money, do different things. I've dealt with them professionally. I'm in property management, and I put some of their clients into apartments in Whittier, and they just do a great job. They meet with the tenants, make sure they're okay, everything going all right, make sure they're getting the help they need, just do an outstanding job. So to make sure they continue to help the city of Norwalk, we're donating $2,500 to their group today. Lastly, sort of a special type situation. We got a new program in LA County, basically, spearheaded by our 4th District Supervisor, Don Kanabe. This guy has done so much good with the Safe Surrender program and different things. But the challenge today is stop child sex trafficking. The supervisor has been very aggressive in dealing with this issue on a local issue, state. He's gone to Washington, D.C. to see what he can do. They've tightened up the laws on these pimps running around and getting more jail time, get them off the street. So he's really been a leader in this, and Coordinating Councils, we're tickled pink to kick in $5,000 to help some of these people, these young adults, children, if you might, move ahead. So thank you very much, and I'm going to turn it back to the mayor.
Next up, we have Captain Curtis Jensen of the Norwalk Sheriff's Department. Captain Jensen, yes. Captain Jensen has been with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department since 1982. After serving as unit commander for the Commercial Crimes Bureau in the Detective Division, Captain Jensen came to Norwalk to assume the role of unit commander in July of 2013, and we are pleased to have him today. Please welcome again, Captain Curtis Jensen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
You bet.
Do we have they're going to chain me down to this mic, and so shame on you. Folks, it's an honor to be here again. Those are bright lights. It's a real pleasure. I saw a handheld earlier. See how far I can go. Trying to get the steps in, and you might recall. Who's got Fitbits or exercise bands? We're going to try to get you 4,000 steps in here if you want to walk quietly from the back. I was going to say, you might recall, I asked Gordon Steffenhagen a couple years ago how long I had, and Gordon said, as much as you need. And I asked him that again this morning. He said, Mike Egan says you have 38 seconds. So if this was bad news I'm giving you today, I could do it in 15 seconds, but the reality is I need 20 minutes or so. So I worked out a deal with Mike. Mike said, you got 5 minutes? I said, I'm going to need 20. We came to a compromise. I got 5 minutes. Is this thing on? Okay, so here we go. I have something that, oh, here it is. Is this what this is? And I've got a cup of coffee too, so. Every year that I've spoken with you since I've been here at Norwalk, I threaten not to come back the next year because I'm not quite sure how we can keep going at the successful rate we've been going. And we're going to try this. It went the right way. Okay. And the reason I'm standing here before you with a smile on my face is because we made it. You know, we made it through 2015. And a lot of you recall a couple of rough patches, some media attention that we got over a week here or there, but the reality is that happens and it all balances out. Just as a reminder for anybody who's kind of new to the area, our station, which is right across the street, and I can read it right off here. I was wondering how I was going to look at the slides. We provide services for Norwalk, La Mirada, and a large unincorporated South Whittier. I'm thinking pretty soon we're going to be at 250,000. And we've got about 250 people budgeted. Those of you who know the difference between budgeted and available will understand that that's budgeted. And we got a lot of volunteers, and that's one thing great about this community. We were talking just a minute ago about just how much giving goes on in Norwalk. We got a lot of people giving to us, a lot of free help in all types of capacities. But let's talk about Norwalk real quickly specifically. We approached 30,000 calls for service during the last year. That EP and R, that stands for emergency, priority, and routine. That was our average response time for each one of those types of calls. Now, there's somebody going to be in here who's going to tell me outside, it took you guys an hour and a half to get to a party one Friday night. And yeah, it did, but the average was 33 on that call. So we are right now on emergencies under 4 minutes. That's well under a threshold for our department in general. Really proud of that, considering any of you driving Imperial or Firestone or San Antonio or Paiute or what. If you're driving in Norwalk, you know that's a good thing. We handled 1,580 traffic collisions. Again, if you've been driving Imperial or Norwalk or Firestone or whatever, you know what I mean. We caused 4 of them. That's down significantly from years past. So, but that's good. We arrested about 2,400 people. Okay, boo, 6,200 citations. If you weren't crashing so much, oh, the lights are flashing. I think I'm done. 6,200 citations. Okay. Look, where am I going with this? 6,200 citations, though, and we got to do it. We sit there, and if you see motor cops, slow down. I don't know what to tell you. If they're standing there with a radar and they're buzzing on Firestone, you need to slow down. A lot of hours of police services. But real quick, we closed last year with 3 primary goals, and one is to keep the crime rate down with the passage of Prop 47. I got to tell you something. This is a super, I think, component of pride for me and for all of our men and women. Prop 47, as you all know, reduced major drug crimes, a lot of felonies down to misdemeanors. It reduced all types of larcenies under $950 to misdemeanors. What that meant and what it intended to do was then redirect the funds for that over to rehab and treatment and everything else. And this isn't, because none of us, I don't think we're here making a commentary on drug abuse or anything else, but in our world of law enforcement, what that translates into is these programs, by the way, the money hasn't made it there, the programs aren't existing yet. So in law enforcement, what that means is a person who might have been in jail for a few days is out in 6 hours. The problem we have with that, we consider ourselves guardians of this community. Your deputy sheriffs, your men and women in uniform here don't want your cars getting broken into. And it's really no more complicated than that. They see that as their sacred duty, having chosen this vocation to come here to protect you and your property. when drug addicts are out in the street more, crime goes up. And so you would have heard about the increase in crime, property crime, throughout the greater LA area and through California. And you probably may also have read an article or two or seen on the news about law enforcement officials saying, you know, the people aren't arrested as many crooks for drug offenses anymore because it's a misdemeanor now. Here's where I'm really, really proud. I don't believe that's true for our department, but I know, capturing the stats out of Norwalk Station, your women and men in uniform didn't slow down their drug arrests. And that doesn't mean that narcotics addicts are bad people. It means that we can't have them out breaking into your cars in the middle of the night. Our narcotics arrests remained constant the entire year in the wake of Prop 47. So we didn't slow down. We didn't abdicate our duty to our community. I'm very, very proud of that. And in a lot of cities around here, even where everybody's working hard and property crimes were going up, property crimes went down. Thefts went down in Norwalk. And that's a huge, huge, huge testament to the men and women that are out there working in the middle of the night. So that said, I think we're doing a heck of a job up to this point in time. Knock on wood here. Continuing delivering high-quality service. You know, we talked last year about that Norwalk enforcement team. It's your special assignment team that some law enforcement executives around LA County said should be a model for all of municipal law enforcement. And I've got to say thanks to Mike Egan and our sworn and elected officials on this, because they are the ones who support this project. Our Norwalk enforcement team, the work they do, some of it is secret, but I mean, you know, they do everything from surveillance all the way through saturation to feel-good things to nuisance stuff. But they won an award last year, and I talked about it. 84 nominations to the Peace Officers Association of Los Angeles County for excellence in field operations. 84 nominations. The Norwalk enforcement team won. That's your team. So, finally, something I'm super proud of, and again, it's you know, volume isn't everything, but our department has a rather simple calculus for measuring activity in a patrol area in a station, and they combine. It's an equation involving arrest, calls for service, and initiated observation activity. And Norwalk Station, on the average, or this last most is number one or number two in all of field operations in every station this department has. That's your deputy sheriffs. And this last month, 27% above the average station. That's your Norwalk deputies. They're putting some work in. They just don't know any better. They come here, they train here, and they don't know. They know no better at all. So strengthening the trust and the confidence in the communities. You know, it's an ongoing thing. We enjoy tremendous goodwill in Norwalk. I think it's some of the best in my 34 years, and we're ever appreciative of it. You know, I want the people out there waving more. It's one of the common complaints that we get. Why don't they wave more? Well, they're going to 30,000 calls, and both hands on the wheel so they don't crash, but we're working on it. We want them, you know, it's something we're going to be rolling out some stuff this year to try to make sure that we're engaged in more self-initiated non-law enforcement type contacts. We have a lot of good programs that we collaborate with the city on, but it's always a work in progress. Now here's what you invited me for, Gordon. Our crime rate this last year, real quick, the FBI Uniform Crime Report, 300. The number 300 is an average. You don't have to know much more about that. 300 Part 1 crimes. Part 1 crimes are your serious crimes: murder, rape, robbery, aggravated assaults, arson, auto thefts, larcenies. And that 300 is the average over 18,000 cities in this country. 2013, Norwalk was 252. 2014, 220. We kept dropping. This is a 1. 2015. I should have had some. I want to be able to drop the mic and just walk off the stage. We hit 218. We dropped 2 more points this last year. And this is not to say that anybody's hire is bad or you don't want to live. Any one of these places is great. Here's the thing. We went and reached out to some municipalities in the area to see if we could get their stats, and none of them are ready yet. But all of ours are. And so we just took, from the adjoining areas, and those are the numbers. And you're going to see sometimes higher numbers in areas that maybe have a major mall or something like that. But look where Norwalk sits among its neighbors. So we endure the occasional flurry. We've got great troops here and great support from the city to help us go ahead and deal with the issues as they arise. But we're in a pretty darn good spot this year. That's what we look like for the last 12 years. With an average Part 1 crime rate, or Part 1 crime total of 2875, this year we were at 2312. We squeaked under the year before. Now, that's very, very, it's poetic almost, reflecting on back on. But let me tell you something. Here's what we want to do. We want to keep the crime rate down. It's a daily, constant effort. It's something we don't slack on. It's something we can't stop on. We had, out of our own organization, about a half dozen contract cities total who actually saw a reduction in total Part 1 crimes. And they weren't all large hub cities like Norwalk either. And so that's a huge success that we've been enjoying. We're going to work on that. We're going to continue doing what we're doing, and if we need to tweak it, figure out how to tweak it. Meanwhile, there's some words up there: quality police services, wisdom, integrity, compassion, and transparency. Our women and men get that they're part of this community. We're woven into the fabric. We've been around Norwalk Station since 1928. We recreate here, we play here, we have family here, we're born here. So the reality is we also don't meet people on their best days a lot of times, and we need to be cognizant of that. And our folks, it's just a daily dialogue. We talk about it, and they get it. They understand where they fit into this community and the obligation they have as this community's guardians. So it's just an ongoing talk. Finally, we want to institutionalize the community partnerships. We're looking at getting those deputies who are running around handling all these calls for service out more, just initiating, as I said, non-law enforcement contacts. And, that can start with a wave, but we want to extend it from there. And that's it. I just want to say thank you, because without your support in this community, come on up, Mr. Mayor. I think I'm up to 5 minutes. We are nothing here. We can't get our job done. We're as good as we are if we have success because of the support you give us. So we thank you.
You did a great job. Thank you. Thank you, Captain Jensen. At first, I felt a little bit bad for him because I could feel you were rushing, but you got real comfortable, and so. No, the man's an English literature major, so he's read a few books as well. Thank you very much. So for all of us, this has been a tremendous year of movement and change, and without a vision, the people perish. And so we've developed the 2020 vision plan, and our goal this year was just to work the plan. So if you will please look at the monitors, we'll see how we did this year.
The world is changing in many ways when it comes to technology, human connection, and socialization. Even in terms of instant gratification, think online shopping with same-day delivery. Norwalk appreciates its rich history. At the same time, we recognize the need to stay ahead of social trends while maintaining our values. Using this adaptability, as well as the power of community, Norwalk is able to reach the goals of its Vision 2020 Strategic Action Plan. The number one focus for the city's strategic plan is providing residents and businesses with a safe environment through innovative law enforcement and public safety services. The Norwalk Sheriff Station's NET, or Norwalk Enforcement Team, are experienced deputies focusing their efforts on distinct crime situations in our community. Their effectiveness in identifying problem individuals and getting them off the street resulted in the Police Officers Association of Los Angeles granting them the Centurion Award for Excellence in Field Operations Gangs last year. Also last year, our Coffee with a Cop program was launched. This proves to be an effective program that encourages communication from residents, developing interactions crucial to effective crime prevention. The work of public services is critical to the city's growing infrastructure. The department has replaced paperwork orders with mobile devices in the field, enhancing efficiency. In observance of National Public Works Week, Public Services opened its facility for the first time to students from Pattison and Moffett Elementary. They learned everything from how potholes are fixed to graffiti removal. What's new for public services? Approved grant funding in the amount of $3.8 million. This will go towards important traffic signal upgrades on major corridors to increase safety for motorists, bicyclists, and pedestrians. Norwalk is fortunate to have its own social services department, enabling residents to have a direct connection to resources. The Social Services, Senior Services Divisions, and Child Development Program all provide city programs and assistance under the Norwalk Social Services umbrella. Low-income residents have access to everything from rental and utility assistance to an emergency food cupboard. 4,000-plus individuals were provided with food last year. This is in addition to over 150 families who received a Thanksgiving food basket. Through the Angel Tree Project in 2015, nearly 1,400 children enjoyed a Christmas celebration complete with a visit from Santa, gifts, and more. Each weekday, approximately 6,300 passengers from Norwalk and adjacent communities are served by the city's public transportation system. Norwalk is on the forefront when it comes to green energy. In April of 2015, Norwalk's compressed natural gas fueling station was officially open for business. Currently, there are 14 CNG buses operating in Norwalk. Using this alternative fuel saves the city approximately $500,000 over the course of a year. Eventually, the entire fleet of vehicles will be changed over to CNG, significantly cutting costs and allowing for a cleaner environment. The Arts and Sports Complex continues to add new activities, making it a desired destination for both kids and grown-ups. With 12 parks in the city, families can enjoy one convenient to them. The Cultural Arts Center enhanced their program, adding open mic night, brushstroke and beverages, and the art club to their lineup. There are also 2 music programs which operate during the school year, Miniachis de Norwalk and the All-City Youth Band, in addition to a wide variety of fine art and music classes available. As part of the CAC, Mary Paxton Art Gallery hosts year-round exhibits. The venue exposes and encourages aspiring local artists. The Community Development Department has experienced growth this year. In 2015, the CDBG Division and Housing Authority were combined to create the Housing and Neighborhood Development Division. The mission? Offering safe, affordable housing to low-income residents while revitalizing Norwalk's neighborhoods. The city's media department keeps residents informed of the latest events and issues in Norwalk with several new programs. Norwalk City TV produced its first Highlight in History, a special documentary on the Hargett House Museum, a home once belonging to one of Norwalk's founding families. Another first for the cable station is Norwalk FYI, Getting Ready for El Nino, focused on preparing residents through safety tips and flood prevention information. Residents and potential residents can now log on to the city's website and see a web video on the functions and goals of each department. There's also a new resident guide, interactive forms, and other links to access information with the click of a mouse. And in 2016, with ongoing, growing community partnerships and initiatives, Norwalk continues to focus on helping schools, churches, businesses, and residents succeed, paving the way to be a place where successful futures are accessible and attainable.
So welcome to this year's State of the City. We have a lot to talk about, and I'm really excited to share with you all the things that we're doing in our city. This year I have the honor of sharing the presentation with Mike, sort of as a symbol of the marriage between policy making and policy implementation. You know, all the football season just ended recently, and all the great football teams have a really special quarterback. And I think we're no different. We have somebody that's very special to lead our team. Please, a warm welcome for our city manager, Mike Egan.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Captain, for following direction, walking away from the podium. You know, the captain's a command officer. When he gets up here, he takes control. And I've been doing this for a very long time. I've been working with the Sheriff's Department for about 30 years, and I'm here to tell you that the Norwalk Station people we have working for us are some of the best I've ever worked with. So let's give them another round. So, you know, I really like the quarterback analogy. I appreciate that, you know.
Well, I meant it.
I kind of think I compare favorably to Peyton Manning. I know you guys are all thinking rich and famous. No, that's not the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about the past his prime, can't run very fast, can't throw a ball very far, and when he does, he looks pretty dorky. That's what I'm talking about. Can you handle one, Mr. Mendez? There you go. So we all saw in the Super Bowl that Peyton Manning showed us that it's not just one person, it's a whole team. If you got a great team around you, you can win it all. And in fact, his teammate, who won the MVP, Von Miller, said something that I thought was pretty poignant. He said, as human beings, we're all pretty selfish. We often think for ourselves, do things for ourselves. But when we commit to doing it for each other, that's when the magic happens. And I think we saw it. So I'd like to acknowledge my team right now, city staff, city council. Would you all just stand up for a moment? Because this is all about a team.
Come on, Gina.
Thank you all for your support. So let's start with some good news. The economy is continuing to improve, though slowly, as we've talked about for a number of years. Productivity is up, unemployment is down. If you saw the unemployment figures today, we added another 240-some thousand jobs to the national economy. So that's good. The city is benefiting. Our major revenue sources are showing some significant improvement, particularly the one on the right I want to point out, which is transit occupancy tax or hotel tax. It's on pace for setting a record year, largely because of this hotel we're in here today. This place is thriving. They're doing an outstanding job, and we're going to be talking about them a little bit more in just a few moments. But we know, if we've learned one thing, that economies rise and fall. You've probably all heard about the pension liability crisis or challenges that cities are facing. So we've taken steps to try to protect ourselves into the future. We started pre-funding post-employment benefits to try to take advantage of investment returns that will help protect the general fund, help protect the taxpayers' dollars. We will be investing very conservatively, so we don't want to lose principal, but we hope to have some good advantage from that. Our employees have agreed to start personally funding some of their retirement costs. For the last few years, they've been providing funds to the retirement program. Starting July 1 this year, our management employees will be paying 100% of their employees' share of their retirement. General unit employees will be paying 50%, with additional contributions to be addressed in later negotiations. So very good for them in terms of our partnership. There's a lot going on in the retail industry. We get a lot of questions about why Ralph's closed, Fresh and Easy closed, what's going on? It's happening nationally. And it has a lot to do with the fact that companies like Costco, Target, Walmart, and ethnic-themed grocery chains are moving aggressively into the market. And we have every single one of those businesses thriving here in Norwalk, including the #1 Gonzales Northgate Market in that supermarket chain. A few months ago, they went through a remodel, they reopened it. I'm here to tell you, if you have not been in that store, you're missing it. If you're a foodie, if you're into cooking, that place is incredible. So I would highly recommend you check it out if you haven't. We've met all of our obligations under the state mandates to dissolve our redevelopment agency, including selling all of our properties. You see two of the most important properties here today. One is the property to the north of us, adjacent to the hotel, which we've sold to the hotel. They're doing very well. They're currently actively planning an expansion for that hotel that will happen within the next few years. We talked last year about the Costco gas station. We sold property adjacent to Costco. That project should get underway any day now. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
So
Mayor?
we face the same challenges as a lot of other cities: homelessness, the ongoing drought, and a local job growth that's lagging behind. In terms of homelessness, countywide there were some 44,000 people without a home. That was 12.4% of an increase over 2 years ago. Now, recently the Board of Supervisors has pledged $100 million in a wide range of strategies to find ways to reduce homelessness. Last year, our homeless count was 235 homeless people, but since then it's been revised upward to about 352. In January, due to less rainfall than predicted, Governor Brown extended the water conservation mandates through October of this year, and we've passed drought-tolerant landscaping ordinances for homes and parkways, and have looked to reduce our water consumption at every turn, but there's no doubt that water is going to continue to be on the rise. And despite recovering economy, our local job growth is lagging behind state and national averages. Another challenge for cities is to continue upgrading its infrastructure. Mike, can you talk a little bit about the investments that we've made in our community this past year?
Absolutely. One of our primary programs is to reinvest in our aging parks. We know that creating welcoming, safe parks for our families and our neighborhoods is critical, vital to our strategic plan. So we've been investing in a number of our parks over the last couple years. We've got more to come. And based on our last budget performance review, the City Council has programmed another $800,000 into parks improvements. It's been extremely well received by the community. In fact, one of our programs is to replace our aging children's playgrounds in our parks. Last month, we reopened, cut the ribbon on the Glacier Park playground. We had over 300 neighborhood residents out, couldn't wait to get there. Over 100 kids lined up just to be the first to climb on those playgrounds. I got to tell you, they had a blast. I'm betting Batman was first. We've continued to invest in our urban forest, and we achieved again the second year in a row. We achieved being awarded the Tree City USA, so we continue on that program. We have exciting new artwork coming to City Hall. As a matter of fact, we're going to do a groundbreaking at City Hall today at about 4 o'clock. As part of a long-needed disability access program, we're changing the concourse and entryway, be a beautiful entryway up to City Hall, 5 monoliths depicting each branch of the military and the many people have served our military for our community. This is a community that supports its military servicemen and women. We completed the Firestone Bridge. We took the lead on that project, $14 million in grants with the City of Downey, and we were awarded a 2016 Engineering Excellence Award along with some pretty amazing company. Levi Stadium, LAX, and San Francisco International Airport. So congratulations to our engineering team.
Very good. So we've done our best to listen to our residents and be attentive to their needs. In 2015, the Public Services Division reported a 90% satisfaction rate in their customer service surveys, which is great, but that means there's 10% that are unsatisfied. And so, to Mike's credit, those are the 10% of the unsatisfied people. That's what we're going to work on, because we can always improve our services. It's a great attitude. It's a great mindset. In July, we met with our local religious leaders to discuss the concerns of their congregants. We talked with them about ways to survive a catastrophic emergency and deal with homeless people and finding them places to live, and ways to connect our city programs with our community. In September, we held a community meeting at our social service center to hear from residents who might not normally go to a regular meeting. Citizens brought their questions and openly discussed neighborhood issues, and we are responding to their concerns as they relate to parking issues and property maintenance and nuisance abatement. This year, we made other connections as well. Mike, can you discuss the new connections that we made in terms of economic development?
Sure, Mayor, thank you. Last year, the City Council adopted an innovative economic development plan with 6 specific initiatives. But at the heart of this plan is raising household income levels. And we're focused on doing that through 3 pathways: helping residents achieve higher education, job training, and entrepreneurship training. You heard a little bit about it from Julia earlier, but we created the Norwalk Education Alliance with like-minded partners in both education and business to focus on how we can better support our community. Our first project, as Julia had mentioned, was mock interviews for our high school seniors. It was actually high school students preparing the next job workforce. And I got to tell you how important this is. You look at these people, 20 years from now, they're going to be filling my prescriptions. They might be writing my prescriptions. They're going to be running our airports. They're going to be running our water systems. They're going to be running our businesses. And it's very important, I think, that they're all very good at it. So are we on the right track? Only time will tell. But consider this. Nearly 70% of voters in Norwalk supported the recent school bond. Now, I know bonds and taxes are controversial, but what it tells me is parents and grandparents in this community want their kids to have the absolute best education they can. They want the American dream. And I think it's our collective responsibility to help them reach it. Again, because they're going to be filling our prescriptions. Can we do this? I think our schools are doing it already. Take this one particular case in point. Dr. Talamantes. Dr. Talamantes grew up in Norwalk. He didn't speak English until the 1st grade. He went to Moffett Elementary. He went to John Glenn. And with the encouragement of his teachers, he went on to UCLA. Yes, I said UCLA.
It gets easier, doesn't it?
It took a lot of practice. But Dr. Talamantes is now the director of hospital medicine at Martin Luther King Jr. Community Hospital. Every kid in Norwalk, every student can be successful. We give them the right environment, the right encouragement, and every one of them can be successful. Here's a great case in point. Another great partner is Cerritos College, who just celebrated 60 years in Norwalk. Cerritos College has shown that they have great capacity to enrich lives. Been some great news coming out in the last year or so about the success rate of what's happening at Cerritos College. You've seen what's going on at the college and them redoing the campus. It's incredible. Walk around that campus. It's not what it was 10 years ago. It's absolutely beautiful, and they're obviously thriving.
Yes, and I just want to make one quick clarification. The Education Alliance is not just for the young people. It's for people that want to change careers, people that want to start businesses, seniors that want to do something different. It's for all of our people. I just want to make that quick clarification. So there were a lot of milestones for several institutions in our city. Not only did Cerritos College turn 60, but the Metropolitan State Hospital turned 100 this past February. It should be noted that the hospital is the 4th largest employer in our city. Some 80% of its employees reside in Norwalk. You may remember me mentioning the challenge of local job growth. So therefore, it's so important to protect our large job centers. The Norwalk Senior Center turned 15 years old. Our center provides a wide range of activities for our seniors, everything from computer classes to health screenings to entertainment. Some of these people weren't even seniors when the place opened up. This past year, we've had some new arrivals to our city. This year, we bid a fond farewell to our longtime attorney, Steve Dorsey, who's here in the audience. How about a round of applause for service rendered? And we welcomed his colleague, Roxanne Diaz, as our new lead counsel. We also welcomed 2 dynamic educators to our team, the superintendent of the Norwalk La Mirada School Board, Dr. Hasmik Danalian, and Dr. Jose Fierro of Cerritos College. So Mike, we've said hello to and we commemorated our rich past, but can you talk a little bit about what's in our near future?
Sure, we mentioned it a little bit earlier, and we talked about it last year, but the Costco gas station is set to break ground anytime now. They've been through their permit process. We're looking very much forward to that because that will give us a nice, healthy boost in our local sales tax. We have transferred the Norwalk Golf Center to the County of Los Angeles. Demolition has started. The project is out to bid. By the end of this year, we'll have a brand new golf course, brand new driving range, brand new community center, and my favorite part, a brand new youth golf academy, thanks to our partnership with the County of Los Angeles and Supervisor Kanabe. We're starting work on the Norwalk First Start Center, which will house a number of our economic development partners, and this will be the foundation for the work that's being done on our economic development plan. These agencies will be working with our community members to help them access higher education, job training, entrepreneurial training. You may know a number of these groups here. I don't know if you're familiar with the Jonas Project, but it's a nonprofit agency that specifically works with veterans on developing veteran-owned businesses and entrepreneurship. It's a great group. In about 3 weeks, the AMC Theater remodel will be done, bringing a state-of-the-art entertainment and dining experience to the city of Norwalk. AMC is committing over $9 million to this project. They want to ensure that Norwalk is the #1 movie-going experience in a very broad area, up to 10-mile radius. So we're very excited about 3 weeks we'll be ready to get over there. I don't know if any of you have ever been in one of these theaters, but those chairs are something else. They are fantastic. So we have to talk about the I-5 widening project.
And so do we really have to talk about I-5?
Yes, we do. So we know it's been a pain. We appreciate your patience. But the good news is every segment in Norwalk is ahead of schedule. And that's good news because we all want that project done so we can get on with our lives. But they've done a fantastic job and it's moving forward. You can really see it's starting to come to fruition.
So we've begun a process of rebranding. Norwalk's new brand will be the foundation for all city communications. It'll represent and distinguish us from all other agencies and cities. And it will represent what we're all about. Visually, the brand will be reflected in our logo, in our color scheme, and our motto. Creating a new brand will depend upon our community's input about what their perceptions of Norwalk are. We encourage all community members and every one of you to come and attend one of the 6 upcoming meetings throughout various sites in our city. And we're very excited about establishing a new identity. Is there any other big news that might impact us, Mike?
There is one that some of you may have read about or heard about. There's talk about extending the Green Line from the Studebaker terminus today to the Metrolink station. And I'll bet you're thinking, oh great, another major transportation project, just what we need. And you know, we've been skeptical for years too, but we started to look at it from a different perspective, and we'd like to ask you to take a look from a high-level perspective. The project would connect the Green Line to the Metrolink station, someday possibly to the high-speed rail, but ultimately to LAX. And so, okay, we see the transit benefit, but what about the benefit to Norwalk? When you look at this project and where it would be located, it crosses the Firestone-San Antonio corridor, which we want to revitalize. It terminates adjacent to 2 major underutilized state properties, the Metropolitan State Hospital and the former California Youth Authority. We have told regional planners and transit advocates, if you want Norwalk's cooperation, you need to help bring us economic development opportunities to these locations. They're underutilized. It's an obvious opportunity for the city of Norwalk. The state is incentivizing economic development around transit assets. There are very, very few transit assets regionally in the Southeast area cities area. Long Beach, Commerce, and Norwalk. There's an awful lot of opportunity here. Now, that said, this project's a long ways off. It's not going to happen anytime soon, But the time to dream, the time to plan, the time to think about opportunities is well before it's underway. So there's going to be a lot of talk about it. We welcome your input. We welcome your interest, good and bad, because this is something that I think gives us great opportunity. The city of Norwalk has incredible potential. It's a big city with small town appeal. We have building partnerships, we have vision, we have opportunity. I absolutely cannot wait to see what the future holds. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
I told you he was special. He might be even a skosh better than Peyton Manning. So we've come to the end of our program, so let's thank all of our speakers today. Thank you very much for attending this year's State of the City Address. God bless.